Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something I think a lot of us grapple with.
Hmm.
This feeling, right, of always attracting romantic partners who just, well, aren't right for us.
Yeah, that feeling of, here we go again.
Exactly. And we're not just talking about, a few bad dates. We're diving into those patterns, the ones that make you feel like you're stuck on repeat.
Right. Like Groundhog Day for your love life.
Totally. So our goal today, it's really to get past just blaming bad luck. We
Yeah.
want to understand why these patterns happen.
And give you some real insights. Yeah. Some actionable stuff to actually break free.
Precisely. We're drawing on some really interesting discussions around relationships and self-awareness for this.
Yes, fascinating material. Really gets you thinking.
Okay, so let's just jump right in then. Have you ever felt like you keep dating the same person, but they just have a different face?
Oh, definitely. You hear that story a lot.
Yeah. Maybe it's the person who's super intense at first, then poof, they ghost you.
Or the one who always needs rescuing,
Yeah.
maybe.
Or, yeah, or someone emotionally distant keeps you at arm's length.
Right. And
It's
it's so easy to just think, oh, just my bad luck.
But what if it's more than that? What if you're not just like attracting them, but maybe also choosing them on
Yeah.
some level?
Ooh, okay. That can be a tough pill to swallow for some people.
It can. I know it sounds challenging. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets kind of hopeful, I think.
Yeah.
Recognizing that you might have a part in it, that actually gives you power. It means you can change the dynamic.
That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Recognizing your own agency. It shifts everything.
Right. You stop being just like a victim of dating circumstances.
Exactly. You start seeing you have a role, even if it's subconscious, in how these things play out. And, the interesting part is digging into why we make those choices.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that psychological landscape you mentioned. One really big piece that comes up again and again in the
It's
material.
childhood stuff.
Yeah. Unresolved childhood wounds, experiences. Think about it, right? Our first ideas about love, safety, connection, they usually come from our parents or caregivers.
Mm-hmm. That early blueprint.
Exactly. And that blueprint, well, it shapes what feels familiar later on. So if love felt, I don't know, inconsistent or maybe conditional when you were little,
Mm.
you might subconsciously seek that out later because it feels known.
Precisely. It feels like home, even if objectively that home wasn't actually very healthy or safe.
Yeah.
It's weird how the brain works.
It really is. That pull towards familiarity is so strong, even if it's familiarity with, say, anxiety or uncertainty in a relationship.
Because the alternative, like a genuinely stable, secure love,
Can feel completely foreign, almost unsettling, paradoxically, if your system isn't used to it.
makes sense. And another angle that the discussion highlights is self-worth, or maybe a lack of it.
Yeah. Low self-esteem, fear of rejection. That's huge.
How does that play in? Like, if you don't deep down believe you deserve really good love, then you might settle. You might accept treatment or dynamics that aren't actually meeting your needs. You take the breadcrumbs, so to speak.
Right, because maybe you doubt that the full meal of healthy love is even possible for you.
Exactly. And it becomes a cycle, unfortunately. Settling reinforces the low self-worth, which makes you more likely to settle again next time. It's tough.
It really is. Okay, now this next one, it's interesting, maybe a bit uncomfortable too. The idea of being kind of addicted to drama.
Mm-hmm. Trauma bonding comes into this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Talk about that a bit. It's like the highs and lows of these unhealthy relationships.
They actually create chemical reaction, right?
Yeah.
Dopamine, cortisol, that whole roller coaster.
Yeah. So you get this intense up and down, this chemical rush.
And your brain mistakes that intensity for passion, for deep love.
Wow. So you can literally get addicted to the cycle, the fights, the making up.
You really can. The brain starts craving that volatility
Yeah.
because it's become the associated feeling with connection, even though it's a stressful, damaging connection. That's trauma bonding in a nutshell.
That's powerful stuff, how our bodies can kind of trick us.
Yeah, it overrides our conscious knowledge sometimes.
Okay. And then there's, I guess, a more straightforward reason sometimes, which is maybe we just haven't figured out what we actually want.
Right, lack of clarity. We haven't defined what a right partner or a healthy relationship even looks like for us.
So we just go based on
Yeah.
what initial spark, chemistry.
Pretty much. You get caught up in that initial attraction, maybe some superficial stuff, and you don't really stop to think, okay, but are we actually compatible long term? Do our values line up?
It's like picking a house just because it looks cool from the street.
Exactly. Without checking the foundations or if the layout actually works for your life. That initial buzz is exciting, but it rarely tells the whole story.
So true. Okay, so we've talked about some of the why. Let's shift to the what. Like, what are the signs you might actually be stuck in one of these patterns?
Good question. The material gives some pretty clear indicators.
Constantly having these really intense but super short relationships, the ones that just burn out fast.
Yeah, that's a big one. Or ignoring red flags.
Hmm.
Like you see them early on, but you push them aside because the connection feels so strong.
Oh, I know that one. The chemistry blindness.
Totally. Or feeling like you always have to earn love. Like you need to fix the other person or chase them or prove you're worthy.
It's exhausting.
It is. What about going back to people who've hurt you before?
Yeah. The repeat offender pattern.
Right. And maybe the biggest sign overall.
Wow.
How do you feel in these relationships generally?
You mean like drained,
Yeah,
anxious, unsupported?
exactly. Instead of feeling, safe, seen, supported, that underlying feeling tells you a lot.
Okay, so if people are listening and nodding along thinking, yep, that's me.
First thing, don't beat yourself up. Recognizing is huge.
Right. The discussion really emphasizes that. It's not failure, it's awareness. It means you're ready to actually rewrite that stank.
Absolutely. That self-awareness is step one. It takes courage to even look at these patterns, honestly.
Okay, so awareness is step one. If you're there, what's next? How do you actually break the cycle?
Well, the consensus seems to be, you got to do the inner work.
The inner work. Okay. What does that look like practically?
It means self-reflection. So maybe therapy, coaching, journaling, whatever, helps you dig deep
Dig deep into what specifically?
into the origins of the patterns.
Yeah.
Asking those tough questions like, what did I really learn about love growing up?
What messages did I internalize?
Exactly. And what do I, deep down, truly believe I deserve in a relationship? Getting honest about those core beliefs is crucial.
Because those beliefs are driving the choices, even subconsciously.
Precisely. Understanding the roots helps you change the behavior.
Okay, so do the inner work. Then what?
Then you raise your standards.
Yeah.
And this is key. You actually stick to them.
Raise standards. Okay, but not like a superficial checklist, right? Must be 6 foot tall, have a dog.
No, not that. We're talking about core values.
Yeah.
Non-negotiables for how you need to be treated.
Like,
Emotional availability, genuine kindness, honesty, respect. Someone who's actually interested in growth, both theirs and yours.
so shifting focus from the surface stuff to the deeper qualities.
Exactly. That list of non-negotiables. It becomes your filter. It helps you make choices based on values, not just that initial fuzzy feeling.
Right, helps you avoid the chemistry blindness we talked about.
For sure. And that leads to the next point, which is,
Let me guess, slow down.
you got it.
Yeah.
Slow things down.
Yeah.
That initial attraction, that spark, it's powerful. We know that.
But it's not always reliable.
Definitely not reliable as an indicator of long-term health. So take your time. Observe.
Observe what?
Behavior. Consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Do their actions actually match up with their words over time? What are their real values, not just the ones they talk about?
Okay. I like that quote from the discussion we looked at. Lust is loud. Compatibility is quiet.
That's such a good one, isn't it? Pay attention to the quiet stuff. The steady kindness, the reliability, the respect. That's actually where the real gold is.
Not just the initial fireworks. Got it. Okay. Inner work, raise standards, slow down. Anything else?
Yes. And this might be the most fundamental piece, honestly. Heal your relationship with yourself.
Back to self-worth again.
Absolutely. How you feel about yourself, how you talk to yourself, your level of self-respect. It massively influences who you connect with.
No, so.
Well, when you genuinely believe, like deep in your bones, that you deserve healthy, respectful, loving relationships.
You naturally lose interest in people who can't offer that.
Exactly. It's like they just don't feel appealing anymore. You're not looking for someone else to fill a void or validate you because you're already working on feeling whole within yourself.
So that strong internal foundation becomes almost like a repellent for unhealthy dynamics.
A repellent for unhealthy dynamics and a magnet for healthy ones. It really starts from within.
Okay, wow. That's a lot to chew on. Maybe we can make it a bit more concrete for people listening, like a little reflection exercise.
Yeah, great idea. Let's try that.
Okay, so just take a second and think about the last person you felt really strongly drawn to romantically.
Got someone in mind.
Okay. Now, what was it specifically about them that pulled you in? What attracted you?
Was it their confidence, their vulnerability, their unavailability? Maybe. Be honest.
Yeah. Now, step back. Try and be objective. Looking at it now, was that connection genuinely good for you?
Or did it feel familiar? Maybe familiar in a way that echoes some of those unhealthy patterns we talked about.
Good question.
Yeah, yeah.
Were there red flags? Things you maybe saw but kind of ignored, consciously or subconsciously?
The things we choose not to see.
Right. And okay, final question for this little exercise. Think about the healed version of you, the you that you're striving to be, who feels whole and worthy.
Yeah,
What kind of partner would that version of you choose? Who would align with that healed self?
really sit with that. What does that relationship look like, feel like?
These are powerful questions, definitely. Just thinking them through can spark some real insights.
For sure. Even just starting to reflect like this consciously.
Yeah.
That's a huge move towards breaking the cycle.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, I just really want to reiterate something important.
Please do.
If you recognize yourself in this pattern, attracting partners who aren't right for you, it doesn't mean you're broken or flawed.
Not at all.
It just means you're learning. You're on this journey of figuring out what healthy love actually looks and feels like. And that's a really worthwhile journey.
It absolutely is. So be kind to yourself in this process. Have some self-compassion.
Yeah, definitely. And just knowing the stuff, waking up to the patterns, that's a massive step forward in itself. Don't underestimate that.
It's huge. It's growth. It's self-discovery. It won't always be easy. There might be bumps.
For sure.
But committing to understanding yourself and these dynamics, that's what creates real lasting change.
Absolutely. So maybe one final thought to leave everyone with, something to kind of hold on to.
Yeah.
You really do deserve a love that feels like peace, like security, like support, not constant chaos or anxiety or drama.
Peace over turmoil.
Exactly. Keep that idea close as you move forward. Anyway, thanks so much for diving deep with us today.
Yeah, this is a great conversation.